Today's hearing over Tamara Lich's request to vary her conditional sentence conditions turned into something that is difficult to describe. But it seems that the hearing was more about rebel news and Israel events' political opinions than Tamara's sentence. One of the most striking moments came when Justice Heather Perkins McVeigh said Israel Levin had hired Tamara Lich specifically to get her out of the house. She emphasized that that was the sole purpose, adding that Israel obviously has a very clear view of the justice system, of herself, and of the trial process, and that he made it very clear in our video reports, which she described as YouTube videos. The judge came back to this multiple times, and she also said that Rebel News was in many ways making a mockery of the conditional sentence. Tamara Lich has been through one of the longest nonviolent mischief trials in the Commonwealth for her participation in the 2022 Freedom Convoy, where she, along with tens of thousands of other Canadians, stood up for medical freedom amid the COVID vaccine mandates that plagued the country, only then to end up with strict conditions, including house arrest, a curfew, and community service after serving 49 days in prison already. Everything she does needs to be submitted to and approved by her conditional sentence supervisor. She is not even allowed to come to Ottawa, our nation's capital, and walk freely because the political establishment is too scared of a 5-foot grandmother. You can help her fight back by chipping in at the tamaraproject.com. Back to today's hearing, Justice Heather Perkins McVeigh mentioned the roughly 40 items of Tamara Lich merchandise, especially one showing Lich with duct tape over her mouth. The judge said the merchandise suggested Rebel News was using Lich employment to promote and monetize her involvement, and the fact that she is under house arrest, with the duct tape symbolizing Israel Events' view that the conditional sentence was intended to keep her quiet. Lawrence Greenspon, counsel for Tamara Lich, pushed back, saying he had never seen a case where the political or journalistic views of an employer were being used as the reason to doubt compliance with the conditional sentence. Greenspon repeatedly stressed that Lich has complied with her conditions. He told the court she has already spent 9 months under the conditional sentence, completed her 100 hours of community service, and received approval for interprovincial travel for work on 13 separate occasions. He argued that Tamara Lich is under extraordinary scrutiny, saying that if she stepped 1 inch outside the lines, people will notice and authorities will know. The Crown itself acknowledged that Lich has complied. Crown Prosecutor Sivan Wetcher said, "We are not suggesting that Ms. Lich has in any way breached her conditions. She's following them." However, the Crown argued that this is not really about compliance. Wetcher said the Tamara Project was effectively designed as a workaround to Lich's sentence and described her employment as self-promotion under the guise of journalism. She argued that Rebel News was using the employment arrangement to promote and monetize the very offense for which Lich was convicted. pointing to her books, merchandise, and proposed speaking engagements. The Crown also argued that allowing broader exemptions would weaken the denunciatory and deterrence effect of the sentence and undermine public confidence in the justice system. Lawrence Greenspon also pointed out that Chris Barber, who was found guilty of mischief and counseling others to disobey a court order, has since been allowed to travel internationally for work. Justice Heather Perkins McVeigh said she was not aware of that. I could go on and on, but one thing I want to say is that we could clearly see what I viewed as the one-sidedness of the judge. At times, she was almost finishing the Crown prosecutor's sentences, and at one point, they even giggled over an argument. This mainly seemed to be a Ribbon News/Israel political opinion hearing. I'm pretty sure that if Tamara were working for another company instead of Ribbon News, all of this would not have been such a big issue. The judge even had Tamara Lich lawyer acknowledge that she has the power to tighten the restrictions and that these applications can go both ways. This shows that she is the one with the decision-making power over Lich conditions. We could clearly see, in my view, that the judge seemed offended by Ezra's harsh criticism of her decision-making. And this is what commentary journalism is for, to criticize when the justice system makes decisions that are deemed unfair or biased. Tamara has been compliant with her sentence conditions for 9 months now. She is requesting permission to travel internationally for work. The Crown is opposing the request, and we will soon know what the final decision will be. Go over to tamaraprojects.com and donate generously to help Tamara fight back and allow her to do her job properly.